bomb blast zone. They've replaced sewer main, I think from Dezonia up to St. A's Drive, and they're working on the sewer services now. I think they have 2 service connections left, and they'll be finished with their work.
Mine's one of them.
Yours is one of them. Yeah, don't flush. So the town work, the portion of the work, is going to start next Tuesday, and we'll be in, and we're going to start replacing drainage all the way down at Mass Road, and we'll continue that all the way to St. Anselm Drive. So all the drainage will be replaced, and we'll add new sidewalk, and we've got a few other things landscaping-wise to do as part of that work. So I'll just give you a brief rundown of the scope of the project. So we've got a 23-foot wide road when we're all said and done. As you're looking up the hill, it's going to be asphalt berm, the Cape Cod style curbing on the left side as you head up the hill. On the right side of the road, there's going to be a new sidewalk 6 feet wide, and that's going to start at Mass Road and continue all the way up to St. Anselm Drive. 6 feet wide, and it will have a granite face, so the sidewalk will be elevated up from the street. We've got 2,100 feet of drainage pipe to be replaced or added, and that includes perforated pipe that we have under the edge of the road to suck up any of the subsurface water that we can to keep the road in nice condition over the years. So 2,100 feet of drainage pipe. We've got over 2 dozen drainage structures that have to be either replaced or added. So there's going to be catch basin inlets where there aren't now, and then everything that we have existing will be replaced. So hopefully a drop of water falls on the street, it'll get to the closest drainage and be gone, and there won't be as much ponding and frost heaving and all that kind of thing that you've been used to lately out here. Tree work. So of course you can't miss the tree work that happened up the hill either. As part of the work to get the sidewalk in, we had to request Fairpoint and Eversource move their utility poles at the top of the hill. I think it's 6 poles that start at Laurel Street and go all the way up to St. A's. They have to be moved back about 10 feet in order to give us some extra room to get the sidewalk in. So we received an easement from St. Anselm College to do that onto their property, and the request has been put in for the utilities. So it's going to be right down to the wire. Hopefully before we're ready to get sidewalk in near the end of the project, the utility poles will get moved and they'll get the utilities off and get the old poles yanked out. So we had to do a lot of tree work to support that. So St. Anselm gave us the permission to cut the trees that were in the right-of-way and then a little bit outside the right-of-way to get those poles moved back. So a lot of that happened. We have a few more trees to take down in that same area. I don't anticipate having to touch any of the trees in the lower end of things, maybe a branch here or there, but we don't want to cut any of the larger trees that are left on the street. We've got some slight fill. There's sort of 2 crests as you go up past Laurel Street. You reach one crest and then there's a sag in the road and you get to another crest up near St. Anselm Drive. There'll be a slight fill there to kind of smooth that out a little bit. But only I think 1 driveway will be impacted, and the driveway comes down to meet the street, so hopefully it won't be much of an issue for them. But as we get closer to that portion of the project, I'll be reaching out to the people that live at the affected houses in the little fill area, but the street won't come up very much. Other than that, the basic road elevation is going to stay roughly the same. Yes, sir.
Some of the people back here are having trouble hearing.
Okay. I'll try to speak up if I can. So as we get further along in the process, we'll reach out to anybody that's affected if there's any change in grade or change in elevation of the road at the upper end. But for the most part, where the road is now is where it's going to stay. As we get to the tail end of the project, we actually reclaim the asphalt and we turn it into a pulverized gravel. And we compact that and use that as a new road base, and then we pave right over the top of that. So we recycle what's already in the street. So the work is going to kick off, as I said, next week. We'll start with drainage at the bottom of the hill, and then we'll likely have 2 crews. Another excavator will be near the top to start to clean up the mess that's up here, because we have to get that area ready for the poles to be moved back. So we'll likely have a crew at the bottom of the hill and a crew at the top, and the road will be closed, local traffic only. So if you live here or live in the neighborhood, of course you can get in and out, no problem. But we're trying to ask folks not to use College as a cut-through for the duration of the project. Liberty Utilities, they do have gas line on College Road. There's a few areas where we have a conflict, so you might see a Liberty Utilities truck to move some of their gas line over to get our drainage in. But I don't anticipate any loss of gas service as part of the project. We might... we will. We'll be back in 2 years. Next year, the department has reconstruction work on Main Street on the other side of town. But in 2018, we'll be back to reconstruct the entire neighborhood across the street here. So Warren, Eden, Laurel, Duclos, Pine Hill, etc., including DeZonier. So hopefully we can start to make this little corner of Pinardville look a whole lot newer and get the streets taken care of. So a lot of work in 2018. So because of that, Liberty Utilities might be reaching out to you if you live in that upper neighborhood about expanding gas lines. So if enough people say that they might be interested in picking up gas, either for home heating or utilities, hot water heaters, grills, ovens, that kind of thing, all it takes is one appliance and you could be considered a customer. If they get enough people that might be interested, usually it's a free upgrade. They'll bring the gas main in, and for free they'll connect you up, and you pay a $6 meter fee or something like that. So we just worked with them on the Glenridge neighborhood, and it worked out pretty well. They extended the main down there, and there was no charge to folks, and they just have to agree at some point within 12 months to get a gas appliance. So you might receive a letter in the next few weeks from Liberty Utilities about coming in 2017 for their gas main. The town won't be back until 2018, but they're trying to get ahead of us. Let's see. So, timeline. As I said, we're going to shoot to begin the work on the 20th, next Tuesday. I anticipate 6 to 7 weeks for the project, which will put us at completion right about Veterans Day. If we have an early winter, of course, a Snowtober type event, then some of the cleanup work that we do at the tail end of the project will have to wait until the spring. But by our current timeline and how we generally can progress with this type of work, we anticipate paving the road probably 4 to 5 weeks from now. Mid-October, the road will be paved. After that, we move to the sidewalk portion, and then after that, we do loam, seed, slope, all the little dress-off type projects. So substantially complete before the snow flies, and then hopefully fully complete if the snow holds off until late November. Let's see, the work is going to end. We're going to carry the work down at the bottom of the hill, wrap around the corner onto Mast Road in front of Pizza Market. It's kind of a little island of sidewalk, so we're going to upgrade that sidewalk as well. And as part of the sidewalk project, all the ADA tip downs, the curb ramps, will be replaced down at that intersection, Rochambeau, College, Mast Road. And then every tip down that we have on a street crossing here will have new ADA ramps for wheelchairs. Also of note to people who live here, right at the end of your walkway, as you went out, as you leave the exit of the building, you have a walkway to the right where I think the bus stop is. We're adding a crosswalk there with ADA tip downs there with a handicap ramp to get across to the sidewalk on the other side, where there will be a ramp on the other side as well. Also at the top at St. Anselm Drive, we're creating a new tip down as well, so there'll be a crosswalk right at the top of College to get to St. Anselm Drive. So hopefully it'll be a lot better, smoother for pedestrians in the area. We're trying to get to the point where we have a big loop of sidewalk around the whole neighborhood, including Mast Road and Rockland, so that's a few years away. But right now this will be a pretty good extension to get all the way up from St. A's down to Mast Road. One thing of note, if you are a property owner, we do have a road moratorium in town. So after we reconstruct the street, we try not to have any utilities come in and cut the street back up for the first 5 years after the road is reconstructed. So if anybody has any water lines or sewer lines that they know are an issue, if they get a lot of sewer smell in their house and you've kind of been avoiding the problem for a while, it might be a good time to call a plumber to take a look at it, or call Goffstown Sewer to have them come out and take a look and take care of that. Obviously, they've done most of their work on College already, but if you think there's something that you're going to want to do that's going to involve cutting pavement someday, now's the time to do it before we do all the work or before we finish the work. Otherwise, it gets a little expensive. If the utilities have to cut into the new road during that 5-year moratorium period, we ask them to make a pretty big patch so it's not a noticeable trench, like you'll see in other places around town, for a better quality road. So bottom line, if you think you're going to add any utilities or want to do anything, try to do it now if you can. Let's see, traffic control, we've already talked about that. Another big issue during the projects is trash and mail. Same curbside collection schedule is going to stay the same, so just get your barrels out as normal. If you sign up for the, passed around a clipboard, if you sign up for the weekly email update list, I'll give you updates, and if we're going to have any changes to curbside collection, I'll do that via the email update. Clem's going to sign up, and we'll get one here so we can get posted down the bulletin board for residents here too. So curbside collection dates are going to stay the same. Mail delivery should stay the same throughout the project. But please let me know if even one day goes by and you don't get mail. Reach out to me and or catch the crew out on the street, because sometimes the postal carriers, hopefully there's none in the crowd, sometimes the postal carriers get a little touchy about where the mailboxes are, or if they think they can't get to one. If you do miss a mail delivery, just let me know, and I'll try to get you very next day, get you back up to service. Sometimes we do have to move mailboxes throughout the project. If they're right at the edge of the road, we'll reset them, or we'll give you a temporary mailbox if needed until the end. Okay, so that's pretty much the big info. There's a couple different ways you can get information about the project. So if you have email, please sign up for the email update list on the clipboard. After it goes around, I'll have it up here. Or grab one of my cards, my email address is on the card. I'll add you to that. I try to do an update every Friday, usually, and give you kind of a status of what we've accomplished, what we have coming up in the next in the week and weeks ahead. We also have a Facebook page, Goffstown DPW on Facebook, and I try to post pictures of the project with some descriptions of where we are on the photo albums. Also, if there's any big news, we try to put it out there as well for people that might not have made the meeting. You don't have to be a Facebook member to see it. It's public, so you can just go to facebook.com/GoffstownDPW and check out that page. We also have a project website on the town website. On the home page, there's a construction projects link, kind of a little icon that says construction projects. If you click on that, all the projects we have in town this year will be there, and this College Road will be one of them. If you click on that, we have pictures, usually the same pictures we put on Facebook, and we'll also try to put all the same text that we send out for the email updates on that same website, so you can always check there as well. And if you haven't already, Nixle, town participates in Nixle, which is a text messaging service. It's mainly for emergencies and big traffic type things, but if we have a big incident or a road closure, if you sign up for this, it's free. They'll send you a text message and let you know. It's good for other things that are going on in town. Good to stay in tune. So if you haven't signed up for the Nixle updates, that's on the police department's homepage. You can go there and sign up, and that's another good way to get information. So a couple different ways to get info about the project. Certainly, if you grab my card and you have any question, just give me a call, or the crews on the street are more than happy to answer any that you have. We always have a supervisor on site, so look for the white hats if you are walking up and down and you see somebody. I've also got a copy of the plans here, so if you have any specific questions about what might be going on near your frontage, come on up and take a look, and we can chat about it. The main thing is, if you see something that you don't like or you have questions about, reach out to us soon. The earlier we know about any kind of problems, the easier it is to fix and the cheaper it is to fix. If we get down to the very end and you say, oh man, I saw that for 3 weeks and I thought it was going to get fixed and it didn't, we paved the road, we paved the sidewalk, curb is set, it gets tough to fix some of these little things. So the earlier we know about something, if you have any questions, the better. That's all I have formally. I can certainly take any questions that anybody has. If you have anything specific to your property, come on up and grab me afterwards.
I actually do have a question. I don't know if there's some type of a law that says that the town can take up to 4 feet. You said the sidewalk's going to be 6 feet. Mm-hmm. Years ago, they already took 4 feet, so now we're talking 10 feet going up the road.
So the question was, we have a new sidewalk going in at 6 feet wide. How much can the town take, more or less is the question. We have what's called a right-of-way on either side of the street, and that extends off the pavement. So
but they already took 4 feet before off the pavement, so now another 6 feet is 10 feet.
Sure. So as you go to your property on your frontage, you might see these granite bounds that are in your lawn, set back from the road usually. Those are actually where the right-of-way is. So everything on the other side, on the street side of these bounds, you might see a pin, an iron pin. If you have a stone wall, it might be a drill hole in the stone wall. If you have a granite bound in your lawn, that's where it is. Everything on the other side is what's called right-of-way. So that's used for roadway travel, walking, pedestrian use, drainage, that sort of thing. So other than the land at St. Anselm College, we didn't have any easement requirements here. So we haven't needed or asked anyone to get any more land from you from what's already right of way. So one of the misconceptions folks have is they own all the way to the edge of pavement. Usually
No.
that's not true, but.
No, I thought 4 feet.
So we won't take any more than we've already got. If they've extended the pavement, we won't be going any further back than the right-of-way. But the right-of-way may not be where you think it is. So if you have specific questions about your parcel number, I can come out, we'll try to mark out, okay, this is actually where the right-of-way is, so you know how far back, potentially we'll be going.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir. So, so as part of this project, we want to replace the last, it depends how you look at it, but the last little pieces of drainage on each of the side streets, so we don't have to come back into College Road when we come back to cut into it. So we're going to extend the work, a couple dozen feet up each of the side streets this year in anticipation. So next year we'll be into Main Street in the other side of town, and then in 2018 is when we'll hit the rest of, not the rest of the town, but the neighborhood up here. So I'll rattle off a list in case I don't miss anybody. So in 2018, we're coming back for Laurel, Duclos, Pine Hill, Warren, Holly, Desonier, Heald, Ivy, Wall, Eden, and Gold. So it's a mouthful, but that's our plan. So pretty much in 2018, the only work in town we're doing is here, and then one little section of South Mast on the other side of town. So pretty much be the neighborhood's time to shine. 20. That's true. Yep.
They're gonna pay what you already.
What you chopped up
I
already.
think he's talking
Yes.
about the dirt area.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
that's what I think that's
Sorry.
what they
You're
need.
talking about the
Right.
patch that's the cut?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Yes. Any of the patches will be paid
Okay.
back in. Don't worry about that. They've got some repairs to come back and finish up with sewer. Once they're done with all their point repairs, everything that was cut open is going to be patched back in. The whole street won't be paved until 2018. Yes. No, I wouldn't ask you to live with that for 2 years. Sorry. Yeah. A couple things. So, one, pedestrian mobility been identified. The town's master plan, some of the village master planning, some of the overall arching goals of the town in the higher density areas where folks live. Try to get the most pedestrian activity that you can. So, you've got a lot of people in a small amount of real estate. The more sidewalks you can have, the better. Pedestrian mobility. The Goffstown Economic Development. They're looking to get as many people as they can down to the business areas on mass, so they want to funnel everybody from your neighborhoods as best you can to walk and hopefully increase business traffic for them. So that's always their goal, is to get people to where we want to get people as many different ways as possible, and walking is one of them that we're trying to bump up. Safe routes to school, so we're trying to increase connectivity, and whenever we're within a half mile or so of a school, we try to get sidewalk in as many places as we can for folks that can walk their children to school, or have their children, if they're older, walk to school themselves too.
Is there any federal funding that's coming forward to support that, or is that coming completely out of our budget?
So this is coming out of town budget. We've got a request in for federal funding under the Transportation Alternatives Grant for some sidewalk in the next 5 years, basically, that we already had planned to do, but we've got it planned and we're asking for money to help out with the budget, but it's all been fully budgeted.
What's the cost point that's associated with this project?
So this project is, about $145,000 out of pocket for the town.
And that's going to be partially reimbursed by the federal grant?
College Road will not have any federal funds, but in future years, we've got some other sidewalk project, St. A, some on St. Anselm Drive, looking to get some in on Warren, that will be, if we receive the grant money, it will be funded federally. It brings up a good point. So the town, for these projects, unlike the sewer commission or the water department, the town acts as general contractor for the drainage and reconstruction projects. So for the most part, every one that you see outside will be a town employee until the subcontractors for curbing or asphalt come in. Your tax dollars at work, but we also find that we can get a lot more done with town employees than we can if we have to contract out the work. It's about 3 times more expensive for us out of pocket to have a contractor come in and manage the whole project, use their crews for the drainage. So we get a whole lot done. This year in particular, our drainage projects, if we had to contract them out, would cost the town about $2.5 million. And our budget for this work is $750,000 on top of our labor, of course, while we're there, but doesn't come close to touching what it would cost if we had to contract out. So. Somebody brought the food, we're in good shape. Here we go. So, I think probably this coming weekend, you've probably got about 3.5 weeks. Yeah, so you can start. We'll touch base with you specifically and with erosion control. We'll bring in some hay bales or something. And you can start. Yep.
The other question I have is the mailbox.
Mailbox. So I think what we're going to do with the question is mailboxes placement. So if you've got a mailbox on what will be the sidewalk side of the street, what are we going to do with the mailboxes? I think what we're going to do is what we did on Mast as you head by Lynchville Park. We're going to try to get the sidewalk maybe 6.5 feet instead of 6 if we can. If we don't have the room, we don't have the room, but we bought special mailboxes for folks there that you actually can open the back, get you on the back side, so you don't have to step into the streets, and we don't have to hang it over the curb. You don't want anybody to have to go to into the street off the curb to get their mail. And we don't want to hit it with a plow, so it's a kind of a tricky thing to get it just far enough back, but not block the sidewalk.
Something that you guys will provide for the sidewalk.
I believe that's going to be our solution. If not, there's a couple, and the other option, of course, would be to move them to the other side of the street. I really don't want folks to, if they're not already doing it, I don't want to have to send you across the street. So there's a couple of different ways. We might talk to the post office about turning them 90 degrees. That works in some areas in town, So as you're driving up the road, you'll look at the front of the mailbox. But I prefer the option like we have over near Lynchville Park, which works pretty well.
And I may have said this, but what are the hours that the guys are going to be working?
Yes, good question. So right now we're still in our summer hours, which are 4 days a week. So it's Tuesday through Friday, and typically you'll see us out here from 7 to 4 o'clock, Tuesday through Friday. There could be some late nights, especially we're kind of at the end of the season, so we might need to work a little bit, towards 5 o'clock to get things wrapped up. But nominally 7 through 4, Tuesday through Friday, and our summer hours end Columbus Day weekend. After Columbus Day, we'll be here Monday through Friday, and we'll start a little later and end a little earlier, so 7:30 to 3 o'clock or so.
So that's it. So like we can expect loud noises at 7 a.m.
We try to keep it down, but you'll probably hear some beeps and yes. Yeah. Prepare yourself now.
I mean, other than Pauline.
Right.
We always have been 5:30 with the dumpsters.
Okay.
Sorry about that. There's not a whole lot of way around it. I think the sewer department found all the ledge, so I don't anticipate having to chip too much of it ourselves. So that'll at least be down.
And there's no problem with traffic getting through it all at any time.
So local traffic, we're gonna try to let you go as best we can in and through. If we're right around an intersection, it might be a question when you get to the bottom. You'll see either a sign at the bottom or somebody will be telling you, "Yep, go down the hill or go up the hill today."
We have a lot of residents that have services, rides that pick them up. We also have need for ambulances quite often.
Sure.
Hopefully that's not interrupted.
Every we ambulances, emergency services, mail, trash. We do our best. There's only a few times when we actually have the whole road closed for a crossing, a pipe crossing, and I'll put out that information in advance of when we actually do it. So hey, tomorrow we're going to open up this trench. You're going to have to go around. The nice thing here is it's a pretty short detour. You don't have to go 2 miles out of the way like you do in other sections of town. But we'll keep everybody posted as best we can on the crossings when those are going to happen. Okay. Any other questions? Any last ones?
I just want to say they've been very, very nice about letting me get out of my driveway.
Great. Good to hear it. Yeah, our goal is never to have anybody stranded for any reason. So if we do, we're doing something wrong. But
They're always smiling.
we'll see.
Little boys playing with their big trucks.
If we're still near the end of November and the snow flies, the smiles might start to disappear. But we'll see.
I don't know if you said it or not, but what side is the sidewalk going to be on? Is it going to to be this
It'll be
side
on
of the
the
road or
far
on the other
side
side?
of the
Okay.
western side of the street. So far side is near.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get into that.
How are you going about addressing some of those situations?
So there's a couple that are real tight, so we'll have to touch base with the folks right near the Laurel area for sure. So the right-of-way is pretty close to the building. We're going to try to stay as far away from the building as we can. If there's a driveway where your driveway is only so long and the tail end of your vehicle sticks out into the right-of-way and what will be sidewalk, we'll work with you. We're going to try to extend pavement on the back end, and folks will be able to pull up a little further if we can. So our overall goal, hopefully, is not to change anybody's life too much. Certainly not for the worse, anyway. But yeah, there's some tough spots, and Ms. Kohler knows for sure. She's got a retaining wall in the right of way that we've gone a little bit around and around, but I think we're going to hopefully come to a good solution here shortly. Help her out.
You're gonna be, when you dig up the roads, you're gonna be paving the whole road, not just doing patches where you dug up, right? Okay.
Yep. So what's going to happen early on is when we replace the drainage, we create a drainage, a trench, a cut in the pavement, and we'll gravel that back in. So it'll be flush, but it'll be gravel as we get mid 2/3 of the way through the project. Once the drainage is done, we have a reclaim machine that comes in and it will grind the entire road edge to edge, pulverize it, compact it back down, and then pave over. So everything paved anyway from Mass to St. A's will be brand new pavement.
What about the side streets in 2018?
Same thing.
Same thing.
What's the current width of the road?
It's 21 to 23. It varies as you go up. It kind of widens up and everything.
Right away on both sides.
Where we can, yes. There's some spots that without creating a retaining wall problem on the far side, we can't shift to this side, for instance, in a couple spots. So the majority of the the shift in the road center line is going to be that way, but yep, that's correct.
Going to be using any steel plates over open trenches overnight?
Our goal is not to have to. If we do need to have a trench open overnight, we'll have steel plates in, but our usually, if we're going to work late, towards 5 o'clock, it'll be to close up the trench and not have to worry about it.
What Dave and his girlfriend, she wants to
Okay. Well, certainly grab my card, sign up for the email updates. If you have any other questions, give me a ring and come out and meet up with you. But thanks again for coming out. Good turnout. Glad to see everybody.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Just shook her head grateful, But they're not here, so they won't know what the hell's going on.
Which house is that?
Right across to you, the brand new one.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes.
Dave speaks English.
Yeah, yeah, he does.
He does,
Yeah,
yeah.
we can talk to him.
Yeah, because they won't know what's going on. There's gonna be a lot of noise and I don't know.
Right.